Welcome back to RMNA 2025. This is the losers finals. I almost said grand finals. We're not there yet. This is the losers finals between UW and CU. This is going to be a very tense match, Preston.
It is. So, quick refresher, maybe you missed some of yesterday. Here's what's going down. The University of Washington lost their first match ever in RMNA, was kicked down into the losers bracket, but as chat on Twitch has already been saying, they are used to climbing the mountain, and they have climbed. Now back in the top 3, the University of Washington fighting with Colorado Boulder to see who gets a chance to face off against VT in the grand finals this morning. I mean, depending on what time zone it is for you, that grand final match will be today. And the teams are here. I'm here. Y'all are here. Guys, can we get some hype in the chat? Because we are ready for UW versus CU.
If you are UW in the crowd, make some noise for us, please. We want to hear you. We want to hear you supporting your teams. This is going to be a very close match. I think all 3 of these teams, very evenly matched in terms of like skill level and technical expertise. We have seen all 3 teams with moving sentries that have been able to lock onto their targets, navigate across the field, go back to the capture point, come back, heal up, reload. This has been just an insane expression of engineering prowess.
It has. So before we dive into these matches, let's talk really quickly about the weaknesses that each of these teams have. That being said, Steven's right. Every team has a phenomenal world-class standard, world-class hero, world-class sentry. But each team has a small amount of weaknesses as well that their opponents are going to have to try and exploit.
And I think specifically, I'm thinking looking towards CU in this next match, we have seen in the 1v1 confrontation that their CV has trouble tracking when you get up close to them. And I think it's been exploited a few times in the 3v3 as well. When a team is going up to their sentry, try to bump it a little bit, the sentry kind of loses its vision a little bit. So that may be something to watch. See how close a team is willing to get to that dangerous CU sentry.
That's true. In addition, CU's hero armor panels sustained some battle damage yesterday, knocking the bot offline, which played a huge part in them getting knocked down into this loser's bracket. Those armor panels for the hero have been extended compared to every other bot, right? Most bots are a continuous surface around the robot, typically in a circle or a square shape. CU's armor panels actually stick out farther than the body of the bot, making them more susceptible to damage, but obviously with the increased diameter, also increasing their tangential velocity as they spin.
It's an interesting design divergence from the rest of their robots, because most of their lineup is very, very small and compact. So the fact that their hero is so large, it's an interesting strategy choice.
It sure is. All right, so that's what we're expecting from teams to try to attack at CU. UW has looked extremely strong with their standard and their hero, basically
Very
flawless.
strong.
But their sentry has only been firing projectiles from one barrel and averaging, in the last 2 rounds, 50 to 150 projectiles per round. Not really the DPS that we'd expect out of top 3 right now.
And I would also say their localization and navigation across the map, not as impressive as CU or VT. We have seen both of those teams moving to the capture point, moving back to heal, and then navigating around their own robots. UW, a little bit more basic, movement, I would say.
That being said, if your tempo or timing is off against UW, you're toast. You need to go in with 3 bots. If CU goes in 2 versus 2, the University of Washington will shut them down. They are unmatched with the standard and sentry combo.
And we've talked about it before, but I think the defining factor will be how well teams can work with their sentry, work around their sentry, utilizing it in the match.
Taking a look at the field. Chad, if you're joining us for the first time, we are playing a capture point game here in the center. If the robot's RFID card is in that point, first come, first serve, the team will start to gain 1 victory point per second. Each of the bots will start in their starting zone. We're going to talk a lot today about the sentry time to center, the TTC.
I like that.
Each team is going to travel completely autonomous with their sentry from the start zone to the central buff, except for the University of Washington, who have been traveling to this choke point here in between the ramp and the wall.
And you know what? I think there's a difference in strategy here between all 3 of these teams. Both CU and VT have very aggressive sentries. They like to take that capture point very early on, play aggressively, they like to play around it, whereas UW, they like to play more of a positioning game. They go to that lower point, as you pointed out, and they will sit there, and they will control the zone rather than capture it until they have demonstrated enough of a level advantage that they can confidently roll over a team. But we're going to see if that defensive strategy will still work against aggressive teams with highly competitive sentries like CU and VT.
Chad, I've started a prediction. You can predict in Twitch chat. Who do you think's going to take the match, CU or UW? whose dreams end here at third place and who continues on this afternoon to battle for first. CU, coming from the red side, have showed an additional really impressive strategy where their hero bot sits in this space, and anytime the blue team peeks the corner, immediately sends them packing. One hero shot all the way through the game is enough to make a robot retreat.
And I love talking about these heroes because these heroes are the game breakers. We have seen it before where a team is chipping away with their standard, just doing a little bit of damage, but as soon as a hero shot lands, the teams will collapse on it and take it down like a pack of hungry wolves.
Steven, we've been talking about the robots all week. We've been talking about the engineering, about the building. We've mentioned several times the strategy and the esport variant of this. We haven't put maybe quite enough focus yet on the driver performance. In addition to the CV, in addition to the team strats, in addition to the robot performance and capabilities, the driver performance in these high intensity, all or nothing moments is crucial. We will be doing team walkouts this year to try and highlight the driver performance. From the side of Colorado University on the red team, we have Sam driving the hero, Rishi driving the standard, Ephraim representing the Sentry CV bot, led by their team captain, Kyle.
This is going to be an impressive match. The CU lineup has done so well throughout the years. They've just gotten better and better each year. Each year they've introduced something new, something innovative. They've constantly been pushing the boundaries of what RMNA can showcase.
From the University of Washington, their standard will be driven by Brian, their hero will be driven by Sumaid, and their sentry's lead was Logan, and of course led by their team captain, Tim.
And I have to say, Tim is probably one of the most experienced and impressive captains in RMNA. He is going to go. He is going to lead this team, I think, to a strong performance. We have seen their organization and their coordination whenever they load into the field.
All right, chat. All right, fans in the venue, put your hands together for the Colorado Buffs!
There you can see the lineup of this Colorado team with that standard and that hero leading the way. But once again, pointing out those large armor panels on the far reaches of that chassis. Hopefully they have fixed the issues where they were experiencing some wiring problems.
In-person audience, we're filming. Put your phones down, put your hands together. Let's get some hype in the building. On the blue side of the map, we have from the University of Washington, the four-time champions, your 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024 undefeated King of the Hill from the University of Washington, the Huskies.
Both of these teams getting ready to go into the field. I think that this is going to be a very even match. I think the defining factor will be who has the more proactive hero, honestly. I don't think the Sentries will play as large of a factor just because both of these teams like to use their regular human-piloted robots a lot more.
Steven, based on yesterday's performances, I think CU has the upper hand in this match. UW will need to land hero projectiles onto the Sentry, in my opinion, and able to turn the tide. Taking down the CU Sentry is a huge wave of XP over to your team, as well as taking out arguably the most efficient, most accurate member of the team. 750 projectiles for free. They don't have to spend their gold. They don't have to go back to base.
All right.
Now looking at our team captains in their face-off, shaking hands before the match.
Tim, the team captain from UW. And
it's a giggle down. I love to see the RMA community.
Love to see the sportsmanship from both of these team captains. Both of them are very experienced members in the RMNA community.
All right, captains, return to your teams and let's get this party started. Chad, take this opportunity, send the link, share it with your friends, share it with your family. If you know of some robotics fans, some UW fans, some CU fans, or some VT fans at home that aren't on right now, send it on over. Saturday morning cartoons, get out of the way. It's time for RoboMasters RMNA 2025.
As a reminder, this will be a best-of-3 matchup. The winner will go on to take VT in the grand finals later today.
Yeah, honestly, as a fan of just fabulous RoboMasters content, I'm hoping it goes to 3. We saw games yesterday win by a point. We saw matches go to 3 rounds. We saw match replays. I mean, we've seen it all at this point. I can't imagine a better solution. We got some signs in the chat. Look at all those signatures from UW. You got to remember, being collegiate teams, every year some of these team members are graduating. Some of them, this will be their last participant year in RoboMasters.
And UW, one of our most senior teams here at RMNA, they are so large and such a broad alumni base. We love to see the support from them, but all these other teams in the crowd as well, they are here to support their favorite teams. A lot of these teams make alliances and have friends on other sides of the aisle, but this is one incredible showing from the RMNA community as a whole. You see RHIT in the crowd there. They are a dominant performance as well, but unfortunately they weren't enough. UW versus CU, this is going to be a tight match. I think that the defining factor for both of these teams and why they are so good is their consistency and their reliability. We have seen time and time again that all 3 robots are always working in some regard. Maybe it's not the most impressive performance, but all 3 are always on the field.
Very true. We really can't overstate the driver performance importance in a match like this. When the robots are so equal, it becomes more and more an esport. The robotics part is done. The engineering competition is complete. As long as these bots' reliability stays up, as long as the teams prep the bots appropriately, get everything initiated, get everything online, it is, from here for the next 10 minutes, pretty much an esport.
And these drivers have got to be feeling the pressure. Remember, this is the end of the road for both of these teams. This is the losers bracket. If they lose here, they are done. Their chances at competing at the championship are over. VT is already sitting there. They are relaxed. They are watching this match, you have to think, trying to figure out what is the best strategy to take down either of these teams should one of them move forward.
Chat, I'm going to throw ads real quick. That way no one gets caught with ads when they hop into the stream during the match. If you want to dodge those ads, you can do Twitch Prime sub or Tier 1 sub. All right, let's take a look at the predictions so far. 83% of the audience voting for Colorado University, 17% for UW. Again, the underdogs of the match, but I don't think that scares them. I had questioned what would happen to their mental game when they took that loss. They've now finished 3rd place in 1v1s, and they don't seem shaken. They seem ready, they seem poised, and prepared to fight it out with CU and potentially VT for their 5th year in a row, the 5-peat.
And for CU, this is the first time they have made it this far in the 3v3 competition. They have never had this opportunity before. So you got to wonder, are there going to be some first-time nerves in this position?
Yeah, they've been so close.
They have been so close, unfortunately, usually being taken down by just minor issues. If they can work out those silly little mistakes, then this team has the ability to take it all.
See all of the teams prepping their bots, making sure there's no jams, firing projectiles. Look at the size of the hopper on the Sentry. Colorado expecting to fire all 750 projectiles in this round.
See a very similar hopper on the infantry as well. Both of these robots not needing to go back to that resupply area very often to reload those physical projectiles. All they need to do is go purchase the virtual projectiles that they get in game, allowing them to make those rotations even quicker.
On the other side, the University of Washington, we got to keep an eye out on this Sentry. If both barrels are online, if it's firing like it has been in 2023 and 2024, UW jumps so high up in the conversation in my mind.
They have to. Because of those separate turrets, they can identify 2 robots and engage 2 different robots at the same time, which is an extreme advantage in how you play this game.
It's true, especially with the self-driving mechanism, right? Because you think maybe it wants both barrels to take out the Sentry of Colorado, but frankly, you only need to get that Colorado Sentry down to half and then force it to retreat. So if you can do that with one barrel while using the other UW barrel to take out piloted robots, the standard or the Sentry, the standard or the hero, excuse me, it'll put you in a great position and give you a lot of map space.
And hopefully both of these teams have been watching each other's matches to identify that sentry behavior, find out exactly when, what is that break point where that sentry will start to retreat, and how long they have before it comes back into the center point.
For CU, it's going to be most important for them to stick together. I think as 3 bots, CU wins. But if CU gets off with their tempo, if they get desynced on their death timers, the hero and the standard will not be accompanied by that powerful sentry. The sentry doesn't know any better, Steven. It will go out by itself 1v2 against the University of Washington. And I do think UW is one of the few teams in this competition that might be able to solo the raid boss that is CU's sentry.
And for these teams, teamwork is the name of the game. A lot of these teams don't have the ability to practice on a full-size field. And so for many of them, testing out the sentry to this extent, this is their first time doing so.
We've got a 30-second technical timeout, just making some slight adjustments, making sure the walls of the field are straight and level. There we go. The referee system initializes for round 1 of the semifinals for RMNA 2025.
All right,
3, 2, 1. Bring on the bots.
All right, you can see CU approaching that center point, but UW actually the ones out quicker. That sentry moving to that same spot on the map. Not actually, they have changed their code. This is
First
a
hero
different behavior
projectile from the University of Washington goes wide. I identified that as a factor that they would really need to capitalize on. In a trade, it's very equal between the two standards. Both standards falling low, but it's the University of Washington standard that's lower. Winning on the trade,
CU with the first blood.
It's UW's hero that goes down, excuse me. The standard falling low, but it's the hero that falls first. CU now with a 23-point lead as we see I believe that's a hopper cover on the field for Colorado. There's sentry though. Look at the sentry for CU. It's not firing projectiles. 727 is not moving. CU looking good. They're in the lead, but this might be a throw of round 1. That's sentry, the most important member of their team. University of Washington overheating as they're trying to take shots at the sentry. It's free XP. It should be free points. They left it at like 5 health. There we go. The sentry goes down.
Finally taken down. The University of Washington sentry doing excellent performance right now. This behavior is something that we have not seen in the group stage.
What a flip of the script. The University of Washington sentry looking so good. Already 200 projectiles deep. CU sentry not moving, not firing. And the blue hero goes down.
Double kill.
And the blue
standard takes out the other bot from CU, and it's the red team. They completely aced a triple kill for the University of Washington, now taking lead 93 victory points to 56.
University of Washington completely wiping the floor with CU. This is not what we expected at all.
At all. Round 1 surely going to go the way of UW. I'm not sure what CU could do. The rule changed yesterday, preventing them from ejecting their own sentry. It will be the University of Washington poised to take round 1. Just waiting on gold at this point are both teams. 7 seconds before the gold drop, CU decides to leave the base. They're going to come in with fewer projectiles, but they'll have the time advantage.
But the CU standard coming in
pushing
close.
In that blue hero.
Taking down the blue hero.
Now aiming at the sentry. The sentry for the University of Washington still online, still firing projectiles. Able to kill the red sentry is blue standard 3.
And critically, the UW sentry getting away, still surviving right now.
Look at this hero from CU, 11 projectiles on the hopper, but that's a lot of projectiles you don't want to get taken out with. Blue standard 3 had him in his sights, ran out of physical projectiles, still holding the middle, 133 to 92. It's so close. Can CU claw back in a 2v3 versus the former 4-time champions?
But check right now, CU with all the gold, UW waiting on that next gold drop. They're going to have to be very efficient with their next few shots.
But it's again the hero from UW taking out that stationary sentry from CU. CU firing back, taking out the standard, and taking out the hero from UW. It's 144 to 155. This is extremely close. And the standard for the Colorado University. Those buffs, Sco buffs, taking out another UW bot. An ace for both sides, a triple kill for both sides. These standards are unleashed.
An excellent driving performance from Rishi. He is doing a phenomenal job carrying this CU team despite their sentry being down.
155 to 178. But the University of Washington has the advantage because they're able to keep spawn killing the sentry. CU has got to finish it up now with 184. If the sentry comes back up, it will go the way of UW. 187, 188. They need to kill those UW bots now. They will take out the standard. It's 198.
They're capturing the point.
CU takes round 1 with 2 bots. With 2 bots. They don't even need a squad. The University of Washington loses round 1 with a numbers advantage. Oh my goodness! Steven, it's exactly the situation I said UW needed. I said the only way UW gets past CU is if CU has a Throlder moment. If they have a bot offline, I thought it'd be their hero. I thought maybe their standards robot motors would go offline again, but no, it's the Sentry, the strongest member of the team, and they clutched it up.
200
Chat,
points.
let's hear you for Sam and Rishi carrying the squad.
200 victory points to 190. This was so close. Look at these damage numbers, 2475 to 2169. This was a back and forth match, but CU critically with that driving performance from Rishi on that standard, being able to claw it back from the jaws of defeat.
That was absolutely insane. The University of Washington looking strong. Their Sentry online, firing hundreds of projectiles. I think it did stop firing about halfway through the round. I mean, there's...
Look at the 17mm projectiles, the difference, 386 to 1008.
Look at the accuracy, though, the damage. I mean, averaging 80 damage per, like, 8, I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, averaging 8 damage per projectile for the side of CU, whereas only averaging 2 for the side of UW. 4 times higher accuracy for Colorado than the University of Washington. That CV diff.
We have
just
talked about it.
Huge. The driver diff, massive. UW will have to step it up and only hit armor panels if they want to compete against that type of accuracy in round 2.
And what a heartbreaking loss there for UW. They were so close to snatching the first round, but CU with the incredible comeback. If you are UW, though, you cannot be shaken. You have to get back into the field. You have to reset, regroup, and go for round 2.
I mean, luckily that round did look really good for UW. Obviously, CU clutched it up. Their drivers went just absolutely brain-dead robotic mode. No fear, no hesitation. They went in 2v3 and won the round.
This was just an insane driving performance from both squads, but CU clutching it up. This is going to be another match that we are going to have to pay very close attention to, especially in the second round with that CU Sentry. Will it be online, ready for the second round, or is it broken? I don't know what the issue is. It looked like it just was stopped moving when it got onto that bumpy road.
All right, Steven. Wow. Chat. This was wild. I mean, my voice is now half gone. This can't go to round 3 anymore. I can't take 2 more rounds of that kind of action.
This was non-stop action from both squads, both teams using their Sentry to try to get that center buff point early on, but critically, the UW Sentry, I think they changed that code because we have not seen that type of performance or positioning from that robot at all in this tournament.
All right, looking at the field, we mentioned this yesterday. It's never a great sign when all of the bots after a round end are left on the field without humans. We'll see if there's any implications, if we get any communication from that referee desk.
Neither team moving onto the field. You can see one of the referees checking the field.
Yeah, chat asking a couple questions about the bracket. This is the University of Washington versus Colorado. If the winner of this match, my brain is just fried. That was so crazy. The winner of this match will go on to face Virginia Tech in the grand finals today. We've got all of the final games today. This might be 2, this might be 3. It's a true double elimination bracket. So let's just go on a thought experiment here. If CU is able to get 3 versus 3 bots, they clutch up round 2, they take down UW. It will be for the 3rd time this week. Virginia Tech versus Colorado, grand finals. But because it's a true double elimination, we might see it a 4th time. If CU beats VT, they'll have to do it again.
We could get 4 matchups between these 2 titans of the team. And this is the matchup that I think we were all denied during the regular performance of this tournament, because neither of these teams were in the same group. Last year, we saw both UW and CU in the groups, CU getting left out. But now, with this impressive performance, CU is here to take their revenge on UW.
They sure are. I mean, it's... Wow, CU has been self-proclaimed and from other members of the community also proclaimed as like the chosen ones, right?
Right.
The next competitor to come up and try to take down UW. But they've struggled. They've had what Matt has affectionately termed UC Throlder moments. All right, a little bit of a pun on UC Boulder. But moments where their heroes' plates go offline, or they have a zip tie in the hopper, or if they have a motor explode, or their Sentry stops working during a round, their reliability has gotten better over the last couple years. And I mean, this round really gives me confidence that at this point versus UW, with their Sentry also having issues, CU can take it down in the 2v2. I did not expect that. I didn't think that CU would win 2v2 versus UW.
And it's that clutch factor that CU just has not had. Whenever a robot has gone offline, usually something else has gone wrong, and the team just falls apart from there on. But this time, CU standing firm, not being able to get shaken by that sentry going offline. Whatever the issue was, hopefully they can fix it, because it will be a very important factor in this next round.
All right, so there was some battle damage to the field,
Okay.
is what I'm hearing from the referees. So the University of Washington is filing an appeal. An appeal on round 1. So what happens now, chat? Let me explain it to you, because it's not quite as simple. Our on-the-floor head refs are likely calling the official committee of RoboMasters in China to discuss this field battle damage. Battle damage to a robot? An appeal doesn't do anything. Battle damage to the field? We'll see.
You never know. With these types of situations, any type of deviation in the field's layout could be the difference between a performing sentry and a non-performing sentry.
We have confirmation from the refs. I'm saying it slowly just in case they need to hit the backspace button, but they're not. So we have confirmations from the refs that the UW appeal was accepted.
Really?
And we'll be replaying round 1 because I believe a localization tag on the field fell off during the round. I believe it came off of the wall. I mean, they're screwed on with wood screws, guys. This isn't like we took adhesive or tape or glue and slapped some stickers on the wall. There are wood screw holding these on, but there are 50-pound aluminum robots bouncing around the inside of there, launching golf ball projectiles at each other.
We are seeing the image right now.
Wait, Austin. Let me get confirmation from Austin that what I'm seeing is the tag didn't fall down. I believe the RoboMaster banner covered a half of the tag. Is that correct? The banner just flopped in front of the tag, window curtain style?
That'll do it.
The CU fans, a little bit of head shaking. The UW fans relieved. But, I mean, this did show us that CU can win the 2v2, which I had touted as the only weakness of Colorado. Their vulnerability was maybe they lose a bot. Maybe they can take out the sentry. UW was allowed free XP, free victory points, unlimited sentry kills, and CU still prevailed. Round 2 is going to be round 1 replay is going to be a really tough ask from the University of Washington.
I was going to say, you know what this means for us? We get another banger matchup between these two. This is Christmas for us.
It is wild indeed. All right, chat, it looks like the humans are now on the field. Let's take a look back at that field view. Taking a peek at the field, you can see all of those volunteers, 1,500 projectiles on the field. I mean, they're not small either. 1,500 basically paintballs, but made out of rubber all over the field. You can see the cover from one of the CU bots on the floor. I believe that's the Sentry hopper lid.
And critically, maybe this this first round replay will allow CU to diagnose whatever went wrong with that Sentry to repair it, because that will be a fantastic addition to this lineup. We saw that they were able to win it with 2 robots. If they have 3 online, I think CU takes this one.
Yeah, I mean, CU took it with 2. Getting one more teammate sure ain't gonna hurt.
Not at all.
Or at least not when that teammate plays as well as the CU Sentry.
And once again, I want to highlight the driving performance from Rishi on the standard for CU. Just the game sense and the knowledge that they have to push the point and retreat before they get taken down so as not to give over more victory points to UW. Just insane.
And Sumaid on the hero for the University of Washington chunked through the sentry every time it respawned, like on the timer. They weren't wasting any seconds, pushing it all the way to like a 10 HP difference, a 10 victory point difference. Phenomenal driving from both sides. A 2 versus 2 effectively for the last 3 minutes of the match. UW had stopped firing, CU had stopped firing with their autonomous bots. Both of these teams now going to have a couple minutes to try and diagnose what went wrong, get those bots firing for round 1 replayed.
That was such an intense match with just 5 robots working on the field. I would love to see this one be all 6. We know what that CU Sentry can do. It is so dangerous when it goes to that center point.
Chat,
and stays there.
Pre-roll ads are in 4 minutes, so I'm going to run another ad right now so that you won't miss any of the action. Anyone rolling in won't get hit with those pre-roll ads. If you want to dodge the scheduled ads, just throw on a Twitch Prime sub for free or a Tier 1 sub. Thanks. All right, I was on yesterday when we had a round replay, and the round replay really threw some of the teams. We had some human error induced by just this big duration. This amount of time when the crowd is sitting, when we're standing, and like y'all at home are just chilling, right? The drivers are sitting in a little black box, stressed. They either just won by the skin of their teeth or they just lost and they're trying to figure out what they need to change, and they're just in the pain cave. They're just waiting for round 1 to replay, and it can have a mental effect. We saw it yesterday with RHIT. Round 3, they had some very simple human errors preventing their Sentry from playing that round. Hopefully CU, hopefully UW have the structure in place for their teams to be able to avoid that, even with these long gaps in between rounds.
And you've got to think the adrenaline has to be pumping on both sides. The question will be, can they keep their focus? Can they maintain their composure between these 2 rounds? Because after that extent, after this waiting period, you never know if, one of the teams start rethinking their strategy. We saw it from UW. They were moving differently, and I'm wondering if that localization tag was the cause of why they didn't go to their usual position, and maybe that threw off CU a little bit. So now CU has to consider what is going to be the behavior of that UW Sentry if anything goes wrong. Have they changed the code? Is there's a difference on the field? What is going to be the strategy this second round? We will have to wait and see. But this CU lineup is so incredibly strong. We've seen the hero chunking down robots. We have seen the standard being able to finish them off. We have seen the Sentry, when it is online, being able to just 1v3 teams at times.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, we've seen it yesterday when their standard had a motor burn up. The CU Sentry and Hero were able to clutch it up with 2 bots. We saw it yesterday when their Hero's cables for their armor panels were shot off. CU was able to clutch it up with the Sentry and the standard. I mean, Colorado University able to play with 2 bots is great, but now is the time for 3. They're coming back up. They're battling UW. UW, again, been playing through the entire tournament with like 2.5 bots. Their Sentry online, moving, then starting to fire like 1 projectile a second, now firing hundreds of projectiles during the round, still stopping inexplicably halfway through the round. If both of these teams can get those issues resolved right now, we will see what we're all hoping for, a battle of the bots at their best. 3v3 CU versus UW.
UW, they have never been in this position before. They have never had to be on the back foot at this level of the competition. Usually they are the ones leading the pack by this point in time. They are the ones in charge of the commanding lead, the commanding demonstration of robot performance. But CU, an impressive showing once again. I think you are going to look at that CU CV as the defining factor, the edge breaker in this matchup. It is just so quick, so accurate. It locks onto a robot so quickly. We looked at it in that damage graph from the first round that is going to be replayed. The consistency and the proficiency of their usage. CU had a gold lead at like minute 2 in the match. UW was waiting on an ammo drop.
Referees, if you have any other updates, shoot them on over. I was about to say, as we get a referee onto the field, there we go. That's what I was expecting. Typically, once those decisions have been made, we should be returning to our normal match style. They should be allowed to go get their bots, bring them back. We'll have a preparation period. It should be a normal length preparation period of just 3 minutes unless a team uses their technical timeout as we get ready for this round replay.
You're just joining us. CU won the first round. However, there was an issue with that localization tag on the wall. We will replay the match. Sorry, we will replay that round.
This is still a best of 3. So now 0-0. Each team will need 2 rounds to win the match. If they win the match, they play against Virginia Tech today in the grand finals. If the team from this match wins against VT, they will have to win another match against VT to be crowned RMNA 2025 champions.
And all these robots are taking damage, physical damage during these rounds.
We see pieces on the floor.
You have got to wonder if this is like not the ideal. Obviously, this isn't the ideal situation for either team, because they're going to have to win now 2 rounds in addition to their 2 rounds against VT.
Yeah,
they want to
Steven,
stand a
I wonder
chance.
where the inflection point is, because at the beginning of the competition, you and I sit here and we talk about how each team wants more field time, how each team wants to have their matches and doesn't like forfeits because they want more time on the field.
When does it flip?
Yeah, because now we're here at the end, as we take a peek at that sentry that stopped moving halfway through the round for CU. But at the end of the competition, we're now saying, man, these bots have been through the ringer. They don't want more rounds. They're performing well. They're performing consistently. They just want to be done. They want to be crowned the champions. They want to have completed the task that's set before them.
CU working on their robots, looking at that code. You can see the active diagnosis going on. Really impressive stuff from this team. I love how they just swarm around the robots and they just start tackling the problem.
You can see them checking out the battery. Again, really important in these longer matches, especially with a replay. This could go as far as 4 rounds now physically. You got to make sure you're swapping batteries when needed so that all of your tuning on your projectile speeds, on your driving direction, on your driving speed, on your power efficiency for your chassis stays within the expected bounds.
UW team working on their robots. That Sentry trying to identify why is it not performing like they are used to. In the past, this UW Sentry has been the robot of the competition.
It looks great for the first 3 minutes.
It looked great. It was doing well. It was moving back and forth. I liked how it was navigating and positioning itself. They were hiding behind their hero, using their highlighted robots as kind of shields for that Sentry, which I think is a great idea in practice. But you gotta think, if the Sentry is going to be the more accurate one, should it be the one stepping forward? Should it be the one taking that point at first flash?
57 seconds left to go. CU still in the middle of the map. This is a bit odd. Typically, these teams will carry those bots back to their start zone immediately. 47 seconds left to go. Remember, it's the team's responsibility to make sure that those robots are properly initialized and ready for the round.
See the good old duct tape coming out there. Always the go-to response whenever a robot gets broken. Just take whatever it is back on.
CU has had problems in the past with their initialization time, where it took too long for a round. As the Sentry is removed from the field, CU, showing in round 1 that they can win with 2 bots, are going to have to prove it in the round 1 replay.
This is a bold move from CU. Without that Sentry, they're going to be down a robot. Critically, their most accurate robot in this matchup.
All right, 3 seconds. CU versus the University of Washington in the semifinals for RMNA 2025. Come on, CU, let's hear you cheer. Sam and Rishi, now you need you now.
5, 4,
3, 2, 1. Bring on the bots. All right, so this is a conversation we had a lot during groups and a little bit during the beginning of knockouts. How do you play with 2 bots against a 3 bot with the Sentry? Hero shot's going to be critical. Experience, staying up on experience, critical. Choosing your moment. CU cannot attack the middle yet. They're going to have to level up before they're able to push to the middle.
But they cannot let UW get too early.
Red Standard 3 thinks I'm wrong, pushing up to 1v3, chunking through the blue hero. Eddie gets the kill, 1v3. 1v3, Rishi just doesn't care. Makes it in, gets the kill, and gets out.
Getting that quick level 3.
My man's a magician.
Going back to now the resupply area to heal up. With that quick level 3, the hero now at level 3 as well.
Somehow, Colorado University with the experience lead. Behind in victory points, but only 20-28. Like I said, they need to scale as CU Standard takes another victim. The Sentry for UW looking like it did yesterday. It's a minute into the match. It's only fired 15 projectiles. It's a 2 versus 2, and CU is in the lead.
And if you are CU, you are
Look
not
at the Sentry.
scared of
The
that
Sentry now unleashing, but only 15 projectiles. That's not scary to CU. They're fine with that.
No, the Standard in this case is more powerful than the Sentry, I would say.
Levels now very equal, level 4, level 5 for the Sentries across the board. University of Washington still slightly behind in victory points, slightly behind in levels, but a hero shot lands from the University of Washington. Those shots so critical, so crucial. CU falling low. Their Standard leveling up to level 6 is able to get another kill. Rishi has ice in his veins.
This Standard performance from CU Robotics, an insane amount of composure demonstrated. The hero still in that center buff point, capturing that, gaining those victory points for CU. This is going to be critical. And the hero
it's
kill.
the hero from CU with 2 bots. CU showing you why they're the 1v1 confrontation champions. As Rishi gets another kill.
The hero,
double kill going over for the standard of CU.
The hero landing another shot on the sentry as well, taking it down, forcing it to pull back a little bit. The CU standard in the UW base.
I love it. This mad lad, the triple kill.
Rishi has no mercy.
We need to edit the audio. Give the man a penta. He's there. He's at 5. CU now holding the central buff point. UW down 120 victory points. Round 1, a tough look for the University of Washington, playing with a numbers advantage from the start, knowing the other team didn't have a sentry and still can't do it.
The hero chunking out the sentry again, forcing it to retreat.
This is the strategy we identified at the beginning of the match to Colorado University, level 10 versus level 6, and they take down UW Sentry Standard, and it's Colorado University round 1 replay.
Preston, how was it that after removing the sentry, CU looked even more dominant?
Bro, they locked in. Like, unironically, the buffs locked in.
The cheers erupting, SCO buffs from the crowd. What an impressive performance. 31 42mm projectiles, 237 17mm projectiles. They fired less 17mm projectiles than UW. They dealt 1900 damage.
Absolutely insane. When all of this is over, we're putting Rishi in a chair and we're going to chat with that man. The driver performance, the CV from CU, phenomenal. The accuracy, insane. The game sense, I mean, I would have called it a misplay, right? But the difference between a misplay and carrying the whole team on your back is when you go in 1v3 and you get a triple kill.
We saw Rishi on the UW side in that blue lane.
Bro was diving the fountain. Just padding the KDA, padding the stats in a 2v3 against the 4-time undefeated champions, University of Washington.
That CEV just on another level for CU. Unfortunately for UW, the Sentry not making the impact they were hoping it to have.
Yeah, wow. Colorado, what's the weakness now for the Colorado University? Those buffs, are they just untouchable?
I don't know. You look at what you have to go against. You have to go against a standard and a hero that can 2v3 you.
So they did lose to VT yesterday, right? But when they lost to Virginia Tech, the hero kept ejecting itself, getting disqualified because of a module offline. Without all of those extra victory points, today's round makes me think maybe it would have gone another way. CU seem like they can play from the back foot, from a numbers disadvantage, as long as they're not feeding over free XP and free victory points with that third bot.
And we've talked about it, this CU lineup looking like one of the scariest in RoboMaster North America. Their CV is deadly accurate. Their driver performance, so clutch. The strategy, impeccable. This is going to be a tough round for UW. They are going to have to claw it back and make this to a 1-1.
I mean, I would ask you, what does UW need to do? But it's not helpful. I think the answer really is the micro. I think strategy-wise, they were fine. You need to push in as 3. You have the numbers advantage. You take that fight every time, but you can't misplay it. You've got to have good target selection. You've got to have good communication, aim at the same bot, take advantage of that numbers advantage you have. You can't let Rishi just run into the back line of your team and take out your standard. The hero and the sentry, the standard, they all need to focus the same bot.
And that standard for CU, you have to take it down early. You have to get that level advantage. You have to keep him down. You cannot let Rishi get up to level 7, level 10, and start taking over the match.
University of Washington calling a technical timeout. We got some cheers in the crowd from CU and for UW. All right, interesting decision here. Steven, talk me through the logic. University of Washington calling a timeout. Obviously, they lost round 1, and in normal sports, normal games, you would say that makes sense. You want to stop the momentum. You want to put in a big gap. You want to cause time for change. You want everyone to calm down. You want your drivers to have a second to be able to talk to the coach, to think about what they need to do differently. But in RoboMasters, you're giving the team that just beat you with 2 bots an extra amount of time to get that third bot back up and running.
You can see here the the CU team already out of the field, just working on that sentry now. They're just letting the 2 bots chill.
On the other side of the field, let's go take a look at what those UW Huskies are cooking in the kitchen.
You can see them working on that hero.
The hero, in my opinion, the accuracy with the hero is so much more difficult, right? An RMUC accuracy that's great on a hero is something like 50%, and that's on stationary targets. It's so hard to hit a moving target with these golf balls. You only get to fire like 20 rounds for the whole match. If UW can increase that percentage significantly, if they can find their moments, University of Washington's turning point might be the added damage, the added tempo, and map position.
And I think with that hero, if they can chunk out that CU standard early on, force it to play on a defensive pattern, they can hold that center bluff point, they can level up, and try to keep Rishi down. Because Rishi, if he gets to level 10, he's still going to take over the game.
He didn't even need to get to level 10. It was just wild. Absolutely crazy game. We got some shout-outs in the chat for UW. In particular, Gregory on the University of Washington's team. All right, so the University of Washington has run out of time in their technical timeout. Colorado still have one technical timeout left in this competition. I doubt that they'll use it. They won round 1, so even if they lost this next round, they would still have another setup period. So time is on their side, in my opinion.
Right.
Getting a look at the Sentry, still outside of the field, not actively being worked on, indicating to me that they're not trying to fix this in the next 3 minutes. Fair. This is a very complicated bot, fully autonomous.
You can see that Sentry just sitting outside the field right now. No one is touching it. CU is confident in their 2 piloted robots that they can take down UW.
Yeah, we got some shout-outs in chat for the drivers from the University of Washington, Brian and Sumaid, as we're taking a peek at the red team drivers, Sam and Rishi, in those driving boxes. This is what I was saying. The drivers are isolated from their team. They have headphones on. They're in a voice chat with the other drivers so they can communicate. But frankly, outside of that, there's game music, there's a cheering crowd, there's my obnoxious voice, keeping it tough to hear anything else except for their teammate in the game.
If you are in the audience and you think CU will take it down 2-0, let me hear you. If you are in the audience and you think UW can claw it back and take it to 1-1, make some noise. Ooh, Preston.
Chat giving another cheer for Greg.
I think the UW cheers were a little bit louder.
UW does a great job with their cheers. Their team members really show up and support their drivers and their team. On the Colorado side, they also, look at the signs from the parents and the support that they're getting as well. You can see some other teams standing over here with the CU. I'm not sure if that's just because of the room size or if this is indicative of kind of their standing. Look, here's us standing on this side, not indicative of our position in the match. Just happens to be where the computer is.
I was going to say, the UW contingent is so large, they take up half the room.
All right, round 2 in a best of 3. It's match point for CU. Three, 2, 1. Bring on the bots.
UW with the early start, that Sentry moving forward. Looks like they will get to the central capture point first.
That's fine. This is about the same strategy that CU used the first time, dodging that first hero shot from the University of Washington. I spoke earlier, dodging the second shot from the University of Washington. Those hero projectiles, precious. The third shot goes wide.
Both teams are playing very carefully in this round.
Really long-range projectiles from UW. CU holding their ammunition, only firing 6 so far, and standard projectiles, whereas 4 hero shots going wide from UW. Now all 5 missing.
Rishi's going in. Rishi's going in.
Rishi pushing forward, trying to get that early kill onto the hero like they did the first time, chasing really deep, maybe too confident, getting the hero down to 10 health, but he gets to the base, and he's back up.
Now Rishi needs to get out of there.
It's UW standard. It's the Sentry from the University of Washington that takes out the CU standard. Excellent performance from UW. Rishi put it all on the line with that chase. Knowing they had another round to fall back on, knowing this is match point for them, pushed very deep, almost got the kill onto the hero, but was unable to. Levels going across to the blue standard as both teams reset for another skirmish.
Both teams still very even in levels, though. Without that Sentry, you remove that, it's still dead even.
CU getting to the capture point first, starting to gain XP and VP points. The Sentry unloading 200 projectiles fired. Look at the damage shot. Hero shot hits. It's the hero shot for UW that turns the tide as Rishi and the standard go down.
And now the hero critically low, having to go back to its base to re-heal.
It's going to be so tough for that standard to get back in this game. The Sentry Spawn killing, takes out the hero as it retreats back to the base. Rishi on the run, red standard 3 trying to make it back to the resupply zone so we can heal.
Brian just puppy guarding that CU corner, not letting them come out of their base.
Excellently played from the University of Washington. That single UW hero shot just playing a huge role in the takedown of the standard.
And University of Washington just sitting in that central capture point, accumulating points. They are now at 84, 85.
They've got the lead. They can just stay there and play defensively. CU has to go to them.
An excellent performance from the University of Washington. Their sentry coming online when they needed it most.
Both teams going to reset. The sentry from UW still with plenty of ammunition, 400 projectiles. As it locks on, starts to unload. Fires 5 or 6 projectiles. There we go. CU now captured the central point as the sentry really opens up with both barrels, cooperating, and it's the hero! It's the hero from UW again that takes down the standard! All 3 bots getting involved, making it a true 3v2. But CU fires back, the CU hero from long range downtown.
CU is not out yet, but they are going to have to make a massive comeback here. University of Washington continuing to accumulate points.
12 projectiles in this CU hopper. All of these need to land. 10 projectiles remaining. He's not down on health. He's not down on projectiles. Maybe just a little bit nervous. Wants to stick with the team. A lot of gold. Doesn't want to have to go back. 113 to 68. No one really pushing for the capture point.
Here comes CU trying to push for that capture point.
It's a 2v1, now becoming a 2v2, now becoming a 2v3 as CU gets in the mix. The sentry falling very low, the standard falling very low. The hero for CU takes down a UW standard. The standard for CU survives on just a tiny amount of health. We're in the hero, watching it fire shots. It lands one onto the sentry. The sentry for UW retreating slightly from the vantage point of that red team hero. Now 107 to 120, still extremely close. A minute 16 left to play.
And critically, level 9 now on the CU hero. Only level 4 on the hero for UW.
Yeah, but level 7 to level 10 on the standards. Really, really even game. Colorado, 15 projectiles in this high-level hero. This hero needs to survive. It needs to land some of those shots. It's red standard 3. It's red hero 1, dealing a bunch of damage. All of these spots spinning in circles. Blue standard 3 falling very low. And blue hero 1 goes down. CU now in the lead.
An impressive comeback now, 140 points.
Kill.
And it's another hero kill. It's the heroes as Rishi cleans it up, gets the triple. 190 for CU. All they have to do is stay on the point, and then CU, the Buffs knock out UW. They're not number 1, they're not number 2. Third place for the University of Washington as CU goes on to the finals. Go Buffs!
An incredible performance from the CU drivers. We saw it in round 1, Rishi taking over the game. In round 2, it was Sam on the hero, landing shot after shot after shot. Look at this, 39 42mm projectiles fired. 2466 total damage. An incredible performance from CU.
An incredible performance across the board. The heroes from that match. Chat, clip it. Please, please go through, clip the moments. So many times the hero from either side land just these massive fight-changing, game-changing shots. Absolutely annihilating the other team's standards, the other team's sentries, allowing those other bots to survive, buying time, making space. Sam and Sumaid absolutely clutching up in round 2. No, Sam and Sumaid, the hero drivers in that round went wild.
Oh, absolutely. Both teams showcasing the talent, and the CV on the heroes, it's just game-changing. We saw it. It was going all UW at the early point in the match. They were levels ahead. They were controlling the center. They were pushing CU into their own base, but CU not giving up. The hero driver, the standard driver, working without their sentry, but still an incredible performance.
And I mean, honestly, so well done from UW to get that sentry back up and playing in their final rounds. I'm so glad they were able to compete with all 3 bots. Numbers advantage, their CV on showcase, on display, their standards playing well, their hero. I mean, I've said it. Shout out to Sumaid at just absolute cinema in round 2, landing these crazy shots, getting the early lead. Holy smokes,
and
well done from both sides.
Just illustrating again the skill on display here at RMNA 2025. These are not stationary objects. These are not the base that you can just go run in, chunk it down, it's over. You have to line up your shots. You have to time them. You have to control your ammo usage. just the ability on both of these teams to demonstrate. We're getting some funny messages right now.
We are getting some funny messages. We're gonna wait before we read those messages. Chat, let me.
It was such a good match.
Oh, it was amazing. These teams are playing just peak. I'm so glad that the team that this is gonna sound backwards, but let me cook for a second. I'm so glad that the team that was only playing with 2 bots is moving on. I want each team to see how far they can get in the bracket with all 3 of their bots performing. The University of Washington have been struggling this week to get that sentry moving, and then to get the sentry firing, and then to get the sentry firing lots. In round one replayed, and round 2, UW had great performance out of their 3 bots. I mean, until that localization tag got covered in the first round, it was extremely close. The University of Washington sentry looked super strong. CU, with their 2 bots, will now have a small amount of time. They have, I mean, an hour, something like that.
I will say the one downside and the one thing that I am concerned about for CU is that now, at one point in time during this competition, all 3 of their robots have been down. We saw it yesterday, the Standard having an issue with its batteries, or having to get taken out of the field because of a motor being shorted or something, and then the Hero against the match against VT, losing its power to a module. And now, in this match, losing their sentry, if I'm CU, I want to make sure all 3 of my robots are working 100% for my matchup against VT.
Exactly. I mean, that match played out just as we thought it would. Not with like who won, but how it played. Both teams' robots extremely equal. Shout out one more time to Brian, the Standard driver from UW, Sumaid, the Hero driver, Logan, one of the main leads of the Sentry for the team, and of course their captain, Tim, for leading their team so far in the bracket under so much pressure. I mean, that was an incredible performance, well-driven, pushing CU to the brink in every single round.
And I think Tim is one of the most experienced captains here at RMNA, and he's done an incredible job leading UW. This is the first time that UW has not made a final match in 4 years.
Yeah, ever. Of course, they've won. They've been the winners for 4 years in a row. Absolutely phenomenal job from both teams.
Really impressive stuff. And for CU, you just are excited for them, right? They have not been here before. BT, they've been to the finals before, right? They've had their chances. But for CU, this is the first time in the grand finals in RMNA. They are ready to take their crown. They have been so eager. They have demonstrated, and they have told us before, that they feel like they can be the top team in RMNA if they just take care of their little issues.
And, I mean, they did have a little issue, right?
They did have a little issue. I would argue it's a big issue.
Yeah, this is the CU that we know and love. They come in, their bots look phenomenal. When they have all 3 bots, everyone comes to me and says, Preston, CU's going to win it all this year. They've got it in the bag. And then some crazy tragedy happens. I mean, sometimes it's a reliability issue. Sometimes it's just bad luck. They had a robot stolen out of their car in Seattle, right? There's some crazy circumstances that have held CU back in the past. Hopefully they're able to fix these reliability issues with this Sentry. They will have to go up against Virginia Tech this afternoon in the grand final.
We are going to be treated to an excellent matchup between those 2 teams, CU and VT, for the 3rd time this week, potentially 4 times if CU manages to reset the bracket.
We got another cheer in chat from Matthew, the electrical lead. Yeah, and I mean, again, I can't overstate how impressive the University of Washington has been for half a decade now. I dropped a link in the Twitch chat. Scroll up. I made a music video parody for them this year. They've just been so impressive. Absolutely phenomenal job with all 3 bots. They performed very well. Their Hero almost clutched up round 2 in this matchup, but it was Colorado University that was able to take down the win.
And I really liked during this match, we saw all 3 different robots at some point making an impact, whether it was the Sentry, the Standard, or the Hero. At one point or another, that robot was taking over the game, and we thought that it was going to be over. UW was so close. They were so close to taking round 2, but CU just being able to clutch up and take the 2nd round. They're moving on to face VT later today. That is going to be a banger matchup. I really do not know who is favored in a VT-CU rematch at this point in time.
Me neither, Steven. All right, Chad, to answer your quick question, the engineering comp is completing today, and it will be dropped as a post-produced video. We will not be live streaming that, but make sure you've hit follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss the engineer comp, you don't miss the RoboMaster Technical Conference stuff, you don't miss the finals of RMNA 2025. Chat, we will be back in somewhere around an hour, hour and a half. Make sure you are live. Make sure you have your notifications turned on.
All right, looks like we are not quite finished yet. Their teams are still.
All right,
like
let's switch over to a roaming cam. Chat, don't kill the messenger, okay? All right. It looks like UW is asking the referees to check the RFID panels. The RFID panels did come on sheets today, and it's the RFID panel of the central capture point, which I would think wouldn't matter because both teams are playing with the same RFID panels. This is not like last year where one base had an RFID issue and the other didn't. It's in my mind, in my opinion, the center capture point is a shared resource between both teams. If it has a connection issue with robots, that is an equal disadvantage or advantage to both teams. But we'll have to see what the actual referees think. Of course, imaginary rumor banner above my head. I'm just a pretty face and a voice. My opinion does not count.
And in all fairness to UW, you can't take the appeal with you. So at this point, if you think there is an issue, now is the time to bring it up. Looks like they're identifying from that hero. It looks like the hero maybe they were experiencing some RFID issues and they're going to check it.
There's the legendary Sumaid right there. The hero driver himself on the field. I mean, he's been virtually on the field a lot this week, but now physically there as well as we're looking at the standard for the University of Washington as well.
The robot is named Null from what I've been told.
Yeah, a cool theme that they had. Null, Zilch, Zero, something like that. All of their teams focused around the theme of nothingness. Very ominous.
Very imposing names for the UW robots. You can see here the referees checking those RFID tags, making sure that it can connect. Big shout out to our referees for putting on an excellent competition thus far, taking care of all the issues as quickly as possible.
Chat, I'm gonna find a link for the super nerds in chat.
See both team captains on the field discussing right now with our head referees. Kat, if you were able to find the instance where UW was experiencing some RFID issues, or it looked like they were experiencing some RFID issues, please clip it so that way we can look back at it later. We would love to see it. But both teams, an incredible performance. Once again, shout out to the drivers. Brian from UW, Sumaid from UW, and Logan from UW, and then Sam, Rishi, and Ifram. An incredible performance from CU. Really, the skill on display by both of these teams, just highlighting what RMNA has grown to, what the teams have grown to, and the teams and the engineers. This is one of the most impressive engineering competitions you will ever see. If you are in high school and you competed in First or Vex, this is the next level up. You can check us out here on YouTube or on Twitch. We also have our own website, RMNA.com. You can check us out, or sorry, RobomasterNA.com. You can check us out, find out where we will be hosting next year. This is going to be a very decisive decision right here because this could be UW's life.
Honestly, with so many appeals that I've commentated in the last 24 hours, I've gone ahead and dropped a link in chat where you can find the rules specification manuals for yourself. Make sure you're using the RMUL for North America version 1.1, the most recent version. Just for the super fans, if you're at home and you I want a 60-page PDF to read about RoboMasters, awesome. Thanks for hanging out. Check it out.
Just some casual light reading on the side.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Getting a really close look at this double-headed Sentry. The Sentries from the University of Washington have been, in addition to phenomenal game players, gorgeous. I mean, look at this bot. The finishing, the polishing. That's a giant Baron. The entire top half of that robot moves as one bearing race. It's like a 22-inch diameter bearing.
It's just the engineering that goes into these robots, the amount of time and effort and money that goes into designing these cannot be understated. The engineers spending so much time, countless hours in the lab, in their garages, and here at the dorms working on these to make sure that they are fully functional. An incredible display.
All right, chat, don't worry. If this appeal goes through, I will make sure we get an actual ref to come over and chat because I'm sure you will have questions. I will have questions. Let's pretend it's an esport. Let's step out of RoboMasters because I don't want to step on the toes of the RMOC, of the official referees. But Steven, if we were playing a video game together, you and I, like Overwatch or like League of Legends, and there was a central contested shared objective, right? And that objective had an error. I would hesitate to see why that would necessitate a rematch. It would affect both teams equally.
Well, and I think maybe we saw this before. There are some spots on the RFID panel, the sheet, it's a sheet. Let's be clear. This is not one giant RFID card or plate. It's a bunch of individual RFID cards that are sewn together into a sheet and laid underneath that central capture point. So if just one of those RFID tags is misbehaving or is, not connecting properly, it can cause a dead spot in that zone.
It sure can. But with these robots spinning, that RFID plate panel for most teams no longer central. It used to be central for a lot of bots. Then teams started to figure out if you put it off center, your RFID module also spins. As we get a peek at the engineering challenge.
See the UW engineer trying to pick up that cube there.
Really struggling. I was watching NUS this morning. Their bot did a phenomenal job. Looks like UW has put away at least one cube.
A little preview of our engineering challenge. Once again, we will be recording that and uploading that later.
Let's see if UW's able to get this last cube out of the box. He's a little shy. We put him on camera with no warning. University of Washington's engineer. These are the bots that earn the gold to buy the virtual projectiles in the University Championship Series, RMUC.
See that robot struggling to pick up that cube right now. Those cubes, the tolerances on that resource island are so tight that you have to be so exact when you are removing that cube. So close. Picking it up. Oh, he's got it. And he's got it loose.
Hey, good job, University of Washington engineer. Look at this bot go. Ooh, the wrist. That's quite a lever arm.
Oh.
Ah.
Dropped it once again.
Hey, producers, I don't know if we want to do it or not. I don't want to stir anything up. But page 23 of the rules manual, if you want to give me a clip of that, you can throw us in the front of it. It is the section that discusses deadbands in the RFID cards specifically. This is okay, they're going to work on it. They're going to cook. Meanwhile, the referees on the field still cooking themselves.
See, the only robot on the field now is that UW hero. Checking those RFID cards, trying to see if there is a dead spot.
Our team is the team cheering content?
Carson. Carson is the engineer driver for UW.
I got so excited. I thought they were cheering content.
I mean, the engineer competition is content.
That's what happens in my brain. Shout out to Peter one more time. That is the head referee on the field in the middle with that RFID module in the black vest. Peter puts so much time and effort in. Oh, yeah, I can circle him. Peter's right here. The #1 guy. We love Peter. We love Peter so much.
We love all of our refs here at RMNA. They have done a phenomenal job coordinating these matches, making sure that everyone is following the rules and that everything is fair and even.
Chat, I have not closed the prediction yet, just in case there is a successful appeal. We've got team members continuing to stream, and everyone has just kind of shifted over to watch the UW engineer attempt to get those cubes. It was able to get one cube, which is good. It's a good start for the University of Washington. Hopefully they can improve on that. I'm hoping to see a lot of these teams get back to China in the next few years, use RMNA as a stepping stone in their performance.
You can see the team now clearing the robot off of that central capture point. Hopefully a decision will be reached shortly, and then we can get that news to you.
Yeah, Maddie asking if the central buff point has a dead band on closer to the UW side, perhaps that would affect how fast they begin leveling up at the beginning of the game.
It is very possible. We've seen before that, capturing that central buff point early on can grant you some extra early levels.
Yeah, very true. Very true. So, Steven, my one, well, I haven't been briefed specifically on what the issue is or what the cause of the issue may have been. But in section 3.2.4 of the rules manual, it does specifically say there may be deadbands for the RFID interaction module cards at the buff point in the battlefield. The teams have to adjust on their own, close quote, right? And so that says to me, tough nuggets. Like if the central buff point, which is that middle victory point capture zone, has a deadband, the teams have to adjust on their own, right? It's not like the base where it prevents your team from buying projectiles and only affects you. I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, the RMOC is allowed to overrule anything in that rules manual. We saw them make a game time decision yesterday to that rules manual, preventing teams from ejecting their bots, except for in the case of safety concerns.
Well, and this is where the language of that rules manual comes into question, and you have to go ask the RMOC specifically what the intended purpose was. Because obviously, if the entire RFID matrix wasn't working, then that would be a field issue, and you would not be able to capture the central buff point. However, if just one card was not working, then you would say, yeah, adjust, right? So the question then becomes, what is the point, what is that tipping point where it becomes a field issue that warrants a reset or a do-over of the round, and where does it, where is it just the team has to adjust?
Sure, all right, chat, we can take a peek at this together. Producers are on it.
Try to get that rules pulled up for you. Either way, this was an incredible match, and if we get another one...
So here it is. Here's section 3.2.4, and if we scroll down, this little light bulb is that phrase that I was reading, specifically indicating that the center point of the map is potentially going to have RFID deadbands, and the teams just have to deal with it. So I would... Like I said, if the appeal is successful, we'll get a referee over here to explain, because I don't think I'm going to be able to figure out the logic on my own through the text communication that we have with them. But
I think it's important for us as the commentators not to speculate on the rules. Obviously, we provide our own interpretation, but in the end, it will be a referee decision. They will have to contact the RMOC and find out what is the final decision.
As you've said, like there's not a downside to appealing, right? If you're the University of Washington, if you use your appeal now and it works, awesome. If it doesn't work, no problem, right? You're either out and you don't need it, or you're in and it's worth it.
To give a sports reference, it's like when you're down at the end of the whatever the time period is, regulation, and you have a challenge flag, you throw that challenge flag to either just get a timeout, reset, or, just because you never know, you might get lucky.
Very true, very true. Yibo himself now perusing the field. When you call in Yibo, you've called in the biggest guns we've got.
Yibo, one of the founding members of RMNA North America.
And now also a founding member of Manifold. Manifold, co-founded by Yibo, one of the sponsors of the event.
All right, it looks like the appeal is not successful for the University of Washington, which means that the results will stand. Appeal denied. Wrap to break when ready.
Nice, Steven. All right, chat. That's it. That's our wrap to break. Thank you guys for being here. In an hour, we will be back somewhere around there. CU needs time to prepare for their match versus Virginia Tech in the grand finals of RMNA 2025. Thanks.